Hello, welcome to another podcast episode. Where did I said that wrong, isn't it? No, welcome to another SENDhelp podcast episode. That's it. Yeah, that's it. Welcome to another SENDhelp podcast episode. Today, I'm excited about this one, and it's been kind of a long time in the making, but it's been for a good reason anyway to get to kind of where we're going to get what we're going to explain in going forward. But today, I have Michelle with me, and Michelle and I have been speaking and kind of looking at the future and kind of connecting dots between certain things that are happening at the moment and kind of trying to get a bigger picture for what is really going on and what we can interpret what's going on as yeah. But again, I'll hand over to Michelle to let her do that. But yeah, so welcome, Michelle, and it's
Hi.
nice to have you here finally. Yeah,
Yeah. Well, it's good to be here. It's good to be
yeah,
here.
brilliant.
So, where can I start? At the
That's it.
beginning?
So
Right, basically,
where should we start? So I think where you started. Let's start from
where
what
I
led you to the
started.
first bit of
So,
research that you went
right,
down to get to where you are now.
right. So I'm a single mum to an autistic
Mhm.
teenager.
Uh-huh.
He's level 3, off the charts, non-verbal, blah blah blah, all the rest of it. And then he had to go for an ADHD assessment, which is why I contacted Nate in the first place for advice on that through the SENDhelp app and through your Facebook page. And then during the chat that we had, I'd spoken about some of the little ideas that I'd had along the way about, teaching Makaton in primary schools, etc., etc. They said this was great and wanted to invite me on a podcast. So I went away
Mhm.
and started researching. And then we're here 6 months later and a lot of research, a lot of research,
Yeah.
a lot,
Yeah, it's valuable research as well.
a lot of things. All send, but
Yeah.
on a lot of areas of send. But yeah, and now we're here.
What's your so overall, I suppose as I said, it started off with quite I suppose in that sense, it was quite positive at the beginning about with the magazine and stuff, but it's very quickly, I suppose, when your research in it took a dive into it's actually a lot, I would say a lot bigger of an issue. I mean, do you want to talk about some of the stuff you kind of did start seeing when you was doing the research?
Well, yeah, I mean, the year 2023, 2025, the government's proposals for send reform, solving the send crisis is what they called it. And a lot of that is still in the pipeline. A lot of it's not been done. Do you know what I mean? Bits have been done. And I've just been kind of following reports as they've been coming out. And just basically realizing that actually they don't have a clue what they're talking about. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? They don't have a. I
Mm.
started with cost of inaction, the core thesis, the argument, why basically that the school system doesn't work anymore. It's not
Mm.
built for this. He wasn't made for this,
No.
And I compared, well, I kind of did past, present, past, future, right?
Mm.
So the past and the wheelchair, I did a wheelchair comparison, and in 1994 to 1970, they wanted to do inclusion of wheelchair users, disabled people, into mainstream schools, and it failed because they didn't change the environment. And we're kind of there again, aren't we?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Unless they change the environment to suit they're putting a square into a circle.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay. And it doesn't matter where you go. It's all kind of like false hope, false promises, and quick fixes. Do you know what I
Mm.
mean? Along the way.
Yeah.
So instead of looking at it as a whole system, yeah, so your EHCP people, Senkos, TAs, social services, paediatricians, the whole speech and language therapists, I could go on, yeah. They need to look at all of it as a whole instead of just thinking, oh, well, we'll deal with this here and we'll deal with that there. And, it's not feasible. And the prediction
It's
for
like
all of this is only going to get worse. It's only going to get worse.
It's like they're putting band-aids on it, isn't it? It's like kind of like whatever's taking the most attention or whatever's getting the most heat in a moment, they'll kind of fix that one and they're not kind of seeing, as you said, as a whole and seeing, well, maybe they are, but again, we'll go to that bit about it,
Yeah, I was going to, yeah.
where they're kind of manipulating it into it, isn't it? Like, but it does seem that they're firefighting what they seems necessary at the time, ignoring the rest, and not thinking it's connected. And it's almost like you're sticking one hole there and creating two more problems
Yeah.
somewhere else.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Yeah. And, yeah. So, yeah, you asked a simple question on Facebook about how many people had had a positive school experience from start to finish. And
Yeah.
everybody said no, didn't they? Everybody.
Yeah.
And I
That's
kind of
shocking. I
said, well,
remember that one.
actually, yeah, ours wasn't that bad,
Mm.
I don't, the different factors. Do you know what I mean? We had a paediatrician. He was non-verbal. He was actually off the charts. Do you know what I mean? So it was definite that he was definitely. And I'm not. Yes, we definitely need more funding for special school placements. Yeah, definitely. And then it kind of drew my attention to actually to mainstream. and the in-betweeners. Yeah, and
Yeah.
kind of what's happening there. So first in November, when the proposals came out from the government about inclusion, early intervention, I thought, oh, great. I thought, oh, they're doing it. I don't need to carry on researching anymore because it's already been done. There's no point. I'll put it down. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and then then it came apart, didn't it? On the 1st of January when they announced the removal of support for middle and lower tiers, which most of are in mainstream school.
I think, I think just to highlight for everyone who's not aware, like middle and lower tier would be where these, what people are calling like the in-betweeners would fit into the categories where
Yeah.
you wouldn't be, as Michelle says, like her son would be non-verbal, very high on the autism spectrum. It might be mixed with ADHD, might be a little bit of trauma or something like that in there.
Yeah.
It's going to be most of the people that are in school right now or looking in a mainstream school.
Yeah. Yeah. I just don't understand why we're moving. So, yeah. So, I mean, actually, there's 49% of EHCPs are in mainstream school. 49%
Wow.
of the kids that have them are in mainstream school. Like I've told you about this before, but just 70% of autistic kids go to mainstream school. You know, I mean, the numbers are just crazy. And they're only going to get worse. They're
Wow.
going to rise. They're going to rise. You know, so so the way I see it now is that the government is actually they want to meet the targets. They want to be able to stand there in the next general election and say, "Oh, well, we've done this and we've done that." Blah, 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 blah. But actually, what's happening is the decreasing the demand for the services for the EHCP for the way. You know what I mean? So by devaluing the child and dismissing the child's needs, yeah. They're decreasing the demand, so therefore those services will then be better. Do you get what I'm
Yeah.
saying? But they're not actually. What they're doing is they're postponing and they're delaying any demand. Because a child who I'm aware that there are a lot of SEND needs, and it's not just about autism. But my son's autistic, which is why I'll probably say autism a lot. But I can't forget what I was going to say then.
Oh.
What was you talking about?
Go back into the SEPs and stuff like that. So when we started, so the program, the thing that they're trying to do, the EHCPs, I think they're making more public knowledge. It was when I started thinking about this and looking into this and got told about it, I couldn't find information about it to back me up anywhere. And I felt crazy when telling people they're going to take this away. But this is kind of what they're kind of doing. But like, I think it's almost like a smoke screen, isn't it? It's been dressed as this, look what we're going to do, as you just said, like, and look at the money we're going to pump into it. But when you actually read into and research what that actually means, it doesn't mean much. And if anything, it's actually making the situation so much worse than it ever was. Because as you said, Michelle, if you now say that kids that are in mainstream school don't need SEN needs, you're not improving the problem. You're just cutting a lot of people out of the issue. So you don't need to have as much funding in that area if there's only now 10 kids that meet the threshold.
Yeah.
You know, so it's worrying, I think, again, going forward. And when they're lining up with openly saying they want every kid with SEN needs to try mainstream, going to mainstream, they're going to put SEN units in there. It kind of matches up, doesn't it, with what they're saying out loud as well?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it does. I mean, we all know that if you leave a child, right, with SEN needs and don't give them the support, don't teach them the tools that they need to manage, to live to go to school in a safe way, in a better way, yeah, then what's going to happen is when they get older, their needs get worse. And it's then actually harder to teach them these tools because they've done like masking tools, etc., etc. They've found other ways to do it. So then they have to be like retrained. Yeah.
Yeah.
So like I said, it's going to delay it. And then they're not going to be able to work, and then it'll affect adult social services, housing, welfare, and then all of that. So they're just delaying the problem. You know what I mean?
And I think it's good to highlight as well, like, it does affect, it's not just that child in that school, like it's an economy it's affecting, because like I speak regularly to parents that have had to come out of work of being a teacher or a high professional field because they've had to look after their child with SEN. That's going to ripple effect going forward, because then there's going to be a deficit of like teachers, which then is not going to get their funding. And even scarier to that is, I feel what they've created is a problem that they can't control in the next generation, where they can try their tricks and their smoke screens here. The next generation are flatly probably not going to trust school. And no matter what you try and put in front of it, they know that's probably not the ideal place. Some of these situations would confirm to them that that's actually right. So if they're not sending their kids to school off the back of it, that's another problem.
Oh,
So if you've got kids, if it's optional to go to school and it starts to be a thing with, do I send this kid to school or do I not? If they've got SEN, probably not. That's another issue, because then what happens then?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's a disaster waiting to happen. It's
Yeah.
not. I'm sorry, but I know, and I don't mean this to sound, I don't want to know what people's beliefs are and opinions are about all the rest of it. But every time I watch the news, and I watch the news every night because I have to, all I hear is immigration, immigration, immigration.
Mhm.
And nobody
Mm.
seems to realise that in 10, 15 years from now, we are going to have an economic crisis in this country because of this
Yeah.
delaying. But they do it anyway. The government's attitude, and this is documented in many places by many people, delays, it's about somebody else's responsibility. I'll get somebody else to deal with that. And it's dismissed and it's not acknowledged. And this is what it's happening like on a bigger scale because nobody is accepting these kids. Nobody,
No,
it's like they're not
it's
accepting
awful.
that they're here to stay. This is the way that things are going to be. Do something about it. That's even the 2.6 billion funding is a myth. It's just
Yeah.
crazy. It's just all crazy. Even now, the delayed proposals, the
Yeah.
delayed white paper that was supposed to be out in January. Now early.
Mhm.
Well, it's in March now. Do you know what I mean? Everything's
Everyone's
delayed. But
EHCPs that
the
have been
funding
delayed.
what they're promising now is until the year 28, 29. But if we
Mm.
can look back, from 23 to 25, about 3/4 of that is still in the pipeline. So it won't be 28, 29. It'll be 30, 31. And it'll
Mm.
go on and it'll go on.
Yeah.
You see what I mean?
And what happens in the meantime? Like, what happens to us as parents? What happens to the professionals that leave and the job market? And again, if you try to talk to it on a slightly off the cuff a bit, but the introduction of AI as well on top of this
Oh,
issue,
God, yeah.
it's almost like, God, like, what the hell is happening? Like, because that's predicting the future and that's changing a lot of outcomes to the job roles that they're even training for. Like, so if that's not even necessarily to, sit down and write, and that's going to be taken away by AI assistants, or, it's going to be a different way of working, that's all that's an effect. And it's just like, almost like, who the hell is running the country? Like, it's
But that's
kind
going to
of
happen with the
weird because,
HCPs. That's going to happen to
yeah,
HCP. It's run on an algorithm.
yeah.
They run on the annual reviews are going to be in April, right?
Mhm.
But then when you start in September, a child starts in September, what they're going to say is, well, actually, this report was done quite a long time ago now, and I think his needs might have changed since then. So now we're going to have to observe him to make sure that he
Yeah,
gets the right support. And there's another delay. Do you see what I
mm,
mean? It's just all passing the buck past to somebody else.
yeah. I
Nobody
would say
wants
from
to kind of address it.
no, and from a point of view of like, so when I speak to about hundreds of families, and it is, I can confidently say now, it is proactively a case in schools of like, a lot of this is nothing but a delay. And it's mad to think that there's a child affected at the end and they're not caring about that child's needs just because they're trying to meet a delay or trying to not put an EHCP through, so they're not responsible for it with the changes coming up. But it's all I see in. It's like, no matter what child is in the case, so everyone has unique needs. They're all unique. They might have autism, ADHD, different combinations, dyslexia, but they treat them the same. They
But this
treat
is what's
them
going to
as a
happen with the
delay, a
categories.
problem, isn't it?
This is what's going to happen with the categories, the coding. This is what's going to happen.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean? Because there's only so many. So it's not going to be a description of
mm,
your child's needs. It's just they're going to end up being thrown into categories. A bit like they tried to
yeah,
do the levels. And then when you add in, like I said, taking away removing the SEND needs support in mainstream school for middle and lower, and then you add the diagnosis criteria that they
mm,
wanted to change as well, and then you add the EHCP criteria. It's just all, it's like putting them into different set boxes. And they're
yeah,
not.
yeah.
They're
It's
not.
even just a diagnosis. Everywhere you look, when anything involving SEND seems to be met with delays or just an impossible jump through hoops to get the kind of support that you kind of need, or even to
Yeah.
get heard. And
So
it's
you
just
were
that's
mentioning
not
about the
accidental.
teachers, but you mentioned about the teachers as well. How many of these teachers are going to end up leaving because they did not take this on as part of their contract to take care of SEND needs,
Yeah,
to have to learn to take care of
yeah,
SEND needs, etc., etc., etc.
yeah.
Do you see what I mean?
I think yeah, that's a very fair point as well, because again, I spoke a lot about teachers as well, and I think that is if you could split teachers in half in a sense, from what I see in the comment section, that's it. You get the teachers that are very like, I didn't sign up for this.
Yeah.
I've got 5 kids in the class that I need to do, and it's hard when you've got to send kids to kind of retaliate that, but that's actually true. Like, the job that they got trained for, the job that they went into wasn't involving, and they didn't get trained to
Yeah.
expect
And then they're
this many
expected to do
sending.
all this other stuff. And
Yeah,
then
and then on the
and
flip
then
side of
I
that,
don't think nobody's thought about actually having these SEND kids in a usual class, in a normal classroom with
no,
non-SEND kids. when is it going to start having an effect on their work, on their education? Is it going
Yeah.
to impact their
Because then,
education,
as I said,
their
on the
work?
other
Because
side of that, you get the teachers that
to
do
be a
try and
teacher,
have
you
to
have
leave.
to be empathetic. Yeah, you have to,
Yeah.
you want to help people. You want them to do well. You want them to achieve goals, etc., meet goals, and etc., etc. It's part of who they are as a person. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then when they see these kids that they can't help and they can't, do you know what I mean?
It must rip them apart. Yeah.
But they didn't ask to
And
be those
again,
kind of
if
teachers.
they
If they wanted
start,
to be
and
those
then
kind of teachers, then we'd have more
and this is it. And as you said about the deficit that they're going to cause in the future, that's one of the big ones that I'm seeing because I'm working with a lot of teachers that are parents of SEN children that have had to become SEN parents first and leave their job. So the
Yeah.
ones that would be in a school that would be sympathetic and understand are the ones that are out of school because they can't be in school because they're stuck with the waiting list that we're doing.
Yeah.
It's crazy. So you're only getting the ones that are going through uni that necessarily, again, won't be the ones that are going into the job thinking of SEN.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's crazy.
I mean, it is crazy. And I thought about the curriculum as well. You did I think it was Katie that said about
Yeah.
the new curriculum. I
Yeah.
looked into that as well. And the new writing test, apart from the fact that the DFE are being criticised because the drafters they've appointed for the new curriculum aren't diverse enough. That's the complaint. They're not diverse enough. Surely, if you're writing a school curriculum for a country, wouldn't it go on your qualifications to write that curriculum?
Yeah.
Not on your sex,
Yeah.
race, colour of your skin, all the rest, all the diverse things.
So it's almost like you could write one blanket reform that wouldn't even highlight any SENDs and just kind of teach a different style that would
Yeah. Well,
capture
the
most of the
writing
kids.
test, the new writing test that's going to be brought out for year 6, yeah,
Mhm.
is supposed to spot pupils who need more support with the writing.
But
In year
already
6. No,
off
there's
in year,
another
yeah,
time delay. They have skipped the first 6 years, 7 years. They've skipped it. They've skipped the first 7 years. And it's like, oh, we'll see if they're there now. And I don't believe this writing test is to do that. I think the reason behind it is it's going to be a checkpoint. It's going to be a
filter.
checkpoint and a review and a comparison to actually how the new EHCP system is working for these kids. Because if they can check them in year 6, after 6 years of no support and blah, 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 not tools and all the rest of it, if there aren't many, then that is working.
Yeah, but if you were going to year 6, so they're not looking into year 6, that then stops them looking into anything until year
Yeah.
6 because they think they're covered to the test.
But there's no
And
point. There's no point in year 6.
yeah,
Year 6, we're
there's
going
no
to give you a
point.
writing test to spot whether you need more help with your writing. But it's okay because you're going to be going in a few months.
Yeah.
Next year, you're going to be
But
in
how have you
secondary
not
school.
spotted that
But they're not
before?
going to work on
I'm
that
sorry, but
support.
you should have. If you've got a child in your class, you would know surely that that kid needs writing support. So a teacher would already spot that and hide and flag that. You'd
Yeah.
fall, wouldn't you? You wouldn't need it. So the ones that would have been spotted already if it was
Yeah.
done effectively.
But
Yeah, that's not.
and it's discrimination as well because we all, well, I don't know,
Yeah.
everybody knows, but autistic SEN needs kids. It's a well-known fact that they struggle with handwriting. They struggle with the development
Absolutely.
of fine motor skills.
And why should they have to learn writing again, even a writing test? Because again, do you know what? I read the other day, I didn't write thank you cards. Oh my God, I was exhausted. I thought I hate this. But I forgot how much I hated. But I haven't had to write for so long. And that's the world we live in. So all this, even a writing test, where we're using handwriting that much anymore, it's not backed up or doesn't go through something, it then turns into a digital format.
Yeah.
So it's kind of, it's just setting them up to fail. Again, if there's more, it's just going to hinder anyone that's got a need, then it's going to help anyone that even identifying.
Yeah. No. So yeah, I always just keep coming back to this point of it's the government. They just can't accept that they failed at something.
No, yeah.
They have to prove a point. It's like they're trying to
Mm.
prove a point. And by doing
Yeah.
this, they're trying to hit different targets, welfare, NHS, all the rest of
Mhm.
it. But our kids are the guinea pigs,
Yeah.
you know.
It does seem like that, doesn't it? It does. And they're a vulnerable category, and it's what worrying. And as you said about past, present, and future, when you look at the past and stuff like the wheelchair scandal and the learning disability scandal, they have done this and they have very actively done this in the past. So anything in our past would say that this is something that would be happening now.
Yeah.
Like, it's just that we didn't expect to be through one of these scenarios in our lifetime. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You think you've got it right and we're at the time of the perfect time, but we are clearly going through that right now, and our kids are really at vulnerable risk.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I shouldn't really say that. I'm not going to say that. But, the way I see it is, well, like what you said, when I started, It wasn't about the quick fix that we have now. It wasn't about, you know, all the rest of it. It was about proving an argument, making an argument, and proving it with backed evidence that, you know, the system is broken. Yes, we all know that. We all hear all the rest of it. But who's putting in the proposals? Who's actually saying they're not listening to us? They're not listening to us as we
No.
are. Because when you look at the proposals made by the government and on their website and everything, there is a part where they've asked parents what they need or what they're looking for, what they think would be better. And it's like, and they come back, you know, and they say, oh well, you know, the inclusion into mainstream school can be, you know, for the SEN kids, but into the classroom. But the classroom's the problem for a lot of these SEN kids. The amount
Yeah.
of people, the
It is.
colours, the noise, it's the actual classroom itself. And they haven't addressed that.
Yeah.
The simple fact about you know, they don't want DLA to be spent on horse therapy, equine therapy anymore.
Do you know what? That makes me so mad. Being
No
someone that's
understanding about the connection between a horse and a child.
no, I have worked in care settings and I worked in a school and I went all the way up as a registered manager I ended up with. So I've gone all the way up, like through the promotions and stuff like that. Every single point of that, I have worked with, supported, or had to arrange horse riding
Yeah.
for a child or an adult because it is amazing. And
Yeah.
to be that
My
target
son
in the
did it.
Pacific, anyone that knows SEN kids and knows that that's effective will know that that's a direct attack on the most effective thing that we've got at the moment.
Yeah.
And that's horrible. It's just, why would you not stop that? Like, I mean, give it to the horses, they do an amazing job, but everywhere I've gone, it's the most effective thing ever. I've preached that for everyone, and it's just well spread. Everyone knows it's a good opportunity to put a SEN kid, especially a autism, in front of a horse.
Yeah. And my son did horse riding when he was younger.
Mm.
So they don't
It's just,
understand it. They don't understand it. I wish that you could get these politicians to spend a week in a home with SEN kids and a week at school with SEN kids, travelling back and forth and all the rest of it. Do you know what I mean? And then come back and say, actually, these kids are all right. All you hear on the news is
yeah.
stuff like, oh, they just need discipline and da 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 da.
It's just, it's that old
Now they're
method,
trying to
isn't it? And
wipe
I think,
out any positives. They're trying to prove the positives and that your child is succeeding and wipe out the negatives. So
yeah.
because it's a financial burden.
And that's what it seems like, doesn't it? Ultimately, that it is a financial burden on their part, even when they talk about EHCPs and even a diagnosis and them having to put the right to choose through in it. It just seems every hurdle seems to be a financial reasoning
Yeah.
behind,
Yeah.
or a financial benefit of why they're doing something, that they benefit because it saves this money by doing this. Like, and that's not okay. Like, it's just they're kids. They're our kids. Like,
Yeah.
I can't believe it. Like, and it's just, it's mad. It's mad
Well,
to
yeah.
think that this is.
That this is happening. And like you say, with the tiers, the 4 tiers and that, they're pushing everybody down. The people who have got, like me, so for example, like me, who my son has an EHCP, he goes to a specialist school, you know, even he's in danger from being lower
Yeah.
down a tier.
Mhm.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
It's, and who's right in
the
this
point, I'm
category?
not
This
saying
is
that.
I
So
would make this argument.
our positives that we would write in an EHCP are, my son managed to get the bath or get dressed by himself, or my son managed to they're all the positives.
Yeah.
At school, oh, can he sit still for 3 minutes? That was one with my son. Yeah, and he's only just done it now, and that target was put as a goal probably 5 years ago, and he's only just managed to succeed it now. But all these are they are gonna put in the HCP plan. So it looks like your kid's doing really, really well. But without the description that we put in to back it up what we're
Yeah.
saying, to match or to be recognised by that system, because it won't recognise it. If we just write it in,
It will just recognise what they put is qualifying, isn't it? As again, and that's even to have a target, have an SEN need to sit still for 3 minutes. It's like I can't ever see it in anything but torture. Because why would you do that to a child that you know can't sit still? And why is that something that you're so focused on that you're pinning down deliberately them to sit still? Like, it's
Yeah.
if as an adult of ADHD, if someone told me to sit still for 5 minutes, yeah. I mean, no one bothers. No one cares. That's the problem. I can sit. No one has gone to me. Oh, you're really annoying. Like, actually, maybe sometimes if I'm spinning on a chair, but no one. It doesn't affect people to that level. So why in school do you have to be so silent, still, and like this? That's not how it works. What job are you getting after this that you have to do that with?
Yeah. I mean, we love it when our kids achieve something. You know,
Mm.
my son went into the dinner hall, I think last week or the week before or whatever it was, and I was over the moon that he did that, because he doesn't
Yeah.
go in. He won't go in the dinner
Yeah.
at school. You know, it's he's
Yeah.
only just started managing to go into the classroom.
Yeah.
You know, once you read and you keep reading, if you take that and you read and read and read and read and read, what does it make your child look like? It looks like, oh well, actually, your child's managing okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Without the home needs in there at
So
all,
they
or
don't need
anything
an
to link
HCP.
towards.
So the
Yeah.
harder the parents work and fight for the child's needs, the harder the kids and what the kid's going through, yeah, is going to worsen. Everything's going to get worse, right? And then along going to come the government and say, oh, well, actually, what you need to do is you need to fill out this health passport, support passport, yeah? So that
Mm.
that can lead you up to getting onto the tiers. So once you've
Yeah.
documented, then we'll give it, then there's a chance that you might be able to apply for an EHCP plan. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's crazy, and that the health passport, support passport, is owned by the WDP. So
Which is
imagine that your
crazy.
life not only is being tracked through your EHCP and monitored, yeah, to see how you are, to see how you behave, to see how, and then you get the health passport, which also does the same thing, which is a non-legal document. EHCP is legal, health passport's not. Do you know what I mean?
Mm.
And they're
Yeah.
already talking about combining the two, combining
Yeah.
the EHCP, the NHS, and the health passport. They're already talking about it. So the more if they're
When
talking about that now, like we said before, it's looking more like digital ID.
it
And then
really,
it's linked to your,
when you break it
like I
down.
said, then it's linked to your benefits, your benefit application. And they're wanting your EHCP to look all positive, and for us not to
Yeah.
put in descriptions and explain certain stuff. Do you know what I mean? So then they'll
Yeah.
get that refused. To see what, so that it just
Do
makes
you
me
think it's
so
going to work?
angry. It just makes me so angry. That's all. And
It is. It just.
I'm so worried about,
Yeah.
you know. But then they have little glimmers of hope, and I think, well, look, hang on a minute. If adults manage to turn around having digital ID forced onto them,
Mm.
yeah. And it's not only that, the $1 million question that's being asked at the moment is not actually because of the SEND needs kids. It's actually, will this become mandatory for all kids in school?
Yeah.
That's
Because it's
what-
just convenient, isn't it? You might as well look at how convenient it is for the other kids that have had it.
But like I said before, it's the long game. It's the long waiting game. They're playing a
Yeah.
long game. Do you know what I mean? So that they have
Yeah.
evidence to prove that actually it is working.
Yeah.
What they're doing is working, so that they can actually then
Yeah.
start forcing it onto other people.
And again, with the smoke screens they've got, which again, bringing back to your point about immigration, is a very fair point. Again, regardless of your views on immigration, if you can't see that that is being pumped in the news to distract you from stuff like in your own country, there's kids. So what I believe that anyone that has got such a view on that would pick that view over a child in their own country being treated like we know that the
Yeah.
kids do. Trick is not publicising that that's happening and making it look like the people that are making a noise like us are problematic, and the actual problem and the money and the deficit is all because of this.
Yeah.
So, and that's what they've kind of created. So even when it has a SEND parent, you're trying to say, no, look, it's happening here. They're like, whatever, you just want benefits or whatever you, and
Yeah.
it's just like spreading narrative
Yeah.
from the government. It doesn't even make sense.
Yeah.
It's like, no,
So,
if you saw what they're doing to
exactly.
kids, anyone would do it.
So we're all
Yeah.
up here at the moment fighting, aren't we? The majority of us. We're fighting for something
Yeah.
because we want something that will help our child educate with education, help our child grow. You know,
Yeah.
do you know what I mean? Like, what did Keir Starmer say? Parliament, every child has a chance to go as far as their talent will take them.
As long as that fits in the system that we created.
You know, and about the hang on a minute. What did they say? They said all his health passport, blah 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 blah, is about breaking a child's background from a chance of success. That's what it's about.
So it's all about what they've done through a home.
Well, no, it's changing that. It's about from ignoring their background so that they can achieve things. Do you know what I mean? But they're not doing
Right.
that.
Yeah.
It's the complete opposite.
No, yeah.
Um,
Overall,
The government, so I mean, but even the Department for Education, right? When they
Mm.
put in their white paper and they published what they thought needed to happen to help solve the trade crisis, and what did the government do? Oh, it's okay. We'll do our own. We'll write our own. Thanks.
yeah.
That just says it all, doesn't it? It's like they're not even prepared to take advice off people.
No. And again, I've said this before, and it's something that I openly said on that status done a while back, that the illusion of training not being there is actually an illusion that needs to stop, because the training is there, the support is there. It's just they don't want it from the people that are providing it. So And then that's not saying teachers again. That's saying the schools, like so the
Yeah.
governments. They don't want companies like mine or all these other people, the advocacy that can really help. They don't want them in the school because one, you don't know what they're going to teach you. They're not going to follow what the school recommends. Again, so it won't let you have the free speaking a bit. And they don't want again to be told they're wrong. So a lot of the time, opening yourself up to school is going to be telling the school that they need to change instead of it telling the kids to change.
Yeah.
And I think they know that. And I
And then
think
there's the other
ultimately,
side that people that parents are frightened of. It's the fact that if they ask for help or they say they're not coping, blah, 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 then social services are going to get involved.
and they do that, and they do.
And then,
That is a
and then
very
they're going to
funny
get neglect.
fear.
It's going to
Yeah,
be like, yeah, well, you neglect. Well, no, it's not because
yeah.
we're trying everything, but we keep hitting a brick wall. What are we supposed to do?
It can't help but not say it's like a battleground. It really is, isn't it? Like this person versus this person, this person versus that. And even like there's alliances, like teachers are sort of on our side, but they've got their own agenda, but then teachers are actually getting more sort of not about the SEN needs, just the in school environment, just the pressure on teachers was breaking them anyway.
Yeah.
But let alone send kids on top of it. Now they're using it as the excuse. When I'm quite thinking, without the send kids, I don't think it was great before.
Yeah.
And it's just as crazy that they're using our kids as scapegoats. But like, overall, do you think what I feel? I said about glimmers of hope. I see that there's a push, and I feel like we're in the time that we are starting to taking the power back and making questions. And even if like podcasts like this and opening up and giving giving people the power to have the conversations, I do feel that we could stop some happening, but I don't feel like all of it will happen. But I do feel positive that we have got in ourselves the right to kind of challenge and question a lot of this. And if as long as we're aware of it, and people are researching like you're doing, and bringing that to light, I think that we just need to keep ahead of it, isn't it? But it's so annoying that it's another role we have to have as parents.
Well, yeah. And it's not just, and then you think about, it's not, like I said, it's not just the parents either. It's siblings, it's the brother, it's the sister,
Yeah. Mhm.
you know,
The
who
whole
then get
relationship.
less attention from the parents because the parents are homeschooling this SEN child. Like you
Mhm.
said, it's like a ripple, it's like a domino effect that's happening.
Yeah, it is.
They're already
It is.
falling. They're
Yeah.
already falling,
And
the
if you
domino.
think about the way that you talk about the delays and stuff, like so start to finish, so if you talk about like 3 to 4, you've just got a diagnosis, oh, you've just got the indication, I think something's wrong. The first 2 years, no, not till they're 5.
Yeah.
So they already started the delay process. By the time that you've got to year 6, 7, 8, or when they start to listen and the behaviour spiraled out to current school and you're in crisis, you don't know what that's done to that family. They might have started a nice, happy family. By this time, they're separated parents. The kids live with
Relationship
either one of
totally gets
them.
affected.
The brothers and sisters don't get on, and there's actually a massive safeguard concern in there, or whatever's happened. It's just a different kind of problem.
And
So, and all
this is
because
why
you're
I said at the
delaying.
beginning, it's not just about fixing one part of the system, like the mainstream classroom or whatever. It's about looking at
Mm,
all of it together
yeah.
and fixing it. It's like I said, why don't they combine EHCP and diagnosis together? So when you get your diagnosis, you then get your EHCP based on your
Or
diagnosis.
at least put them in the path. Yeah.
That'd help. Do you know what I
That
mean?
would be amazing.
You know,
And even like the family diagnosis, I've always said this and I scream this, like it wouldn't save so much time, maybe not initially, but in the long run it would, if you just got the family screened there and then. So pretty much, if you know it's going to spread through like that, if you had cancer and there's high in the family, you get checked for that, don't you,
yeah,
early or whatever. Why is that not typical for something that that's now like 95% chance of being riddled in a family? Like,
yeah,
so at least one of them, if we're talking about a percentage of it not being everyone, but at least another sibling or one of the parents having it, looking at near enough 100%, didn't you?
yeah,
So why are you waiting for that to get to crisis, then the next person gets crisis, then the next person gets crisis before you get them to get a diagnosis?
yeah. I mean, but then they're changing the diagnosis, aren't they? They're changing the diagnosis criteria. You know.
Yeah, I've been
Oh, yeah,
expecting
sorry,
this
my
for a while,
sister's
to be
at
fair.
work, sorry. You know, and then that's levels, isn't it? That would be levels. They do it in America, level 1, 2, 3. Yeah, sorry,
Mm,
thank you. Sorry, my son's just come home. And it's gonna be division and separation. That's what it's gonna end up
mm.
being, division and separation. Instead of being inclusion, and all that we do know tools. There is a wide variety of tools that they teach at my son's SEN school to all the kids. And then eventually they filter out which ones work, which ones don't work, and which one is suitable for that child. Why can't they teach some of these universal tools to primary school kids?
And yeah, I mean, I said it. if you've got any of these skills and any of these things that you teach for the neurodiverse kids should and can work for all kids.
Yeah.
So if you're having to put extra work in a child's emotional state for ADHD, for example, why couldn't you just implement that in the class and let every kid have the ability to learn about emotional,
Yeah, well, that's
responses
what
and,
I said,
when you
you
feel
know?
angry.
That's what I'm saying about the Makaton. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Get the whole class to do it. And then I thought, well, actually, no, you don't really even need to teach them or do that, do you? You just need to put signs up all over the school. Put it on the school uniform.
yeah, just make sure, like, even a sign a week or such, just bring it to attention
You do it
assembly,
with
you just mention it
disabled
then.
facilities, you know?
Mm.
Just print them up around the school.
Yeah, yeah, that's it. Just massively
Even
put
if all they have to do is point and say, "That's what's wrong. I'm cold, I'm hot, I'm
yeah.
hungry." Doesn't have to be the whole vocabulary. Just 20 words that they can use and be understood. Communication is key when you're nonverbal to a lot of other things. Being able to start to communicate. Do you know what I mean?
It's a
Helps with
life. It is
a
your
lot of
whole
other
life.
areas. But yeah,
And I mean, people underestimate that, but it is. It's your safety. If you cannot communicate, you can get yourself in real trouble or be
oh
in a
yeah,
real vulnerable spot.
yeah,
And if it's not, and if and it's so sad, isn't it? When that's the problem, isn't the lack of being able to communicate. It's just the resources are not there to be able to let anyone know. Like, so if you didn't have them around the school and you didn't have access for that person to the way they communicate, then you've let that child down
yeah.
and you put that child at risk. And I think things like that should be implemented in school because why not?
Why
Like,
not?
what's the
Why
harm?
not?
You're not
Like
going to
I said to
plan
you, I
kids
think
with
I can't remember
disabilities.
hang on. All right. So in London, nearly half, 47.9% of all schools having a majority of pupils speaking EL English. Yeah. So
Mm,
that leaves 50% that don't speak English
mm.
of kids. So I mean, the Makaton, yeah, that would help with that as well. If you don't speak the language, it's a symbol. It's a symbol. You can use it.
Yeah.
I
It's a
I wonder
signature.
how quick they go. And I'm not racist. Before anybody goes on down that road, it's nothing to do with that. But I wonder how fast the government provides support and funding to deal with that issue.
Yeah, and this is what doesn't make sense about that whole argument, because as much as in the media is a negative approach, they also flip the narrative and put it as a very positive thing. And it's almost like it's just to keep us confused and arguing because there's no conclusion that way, is there?
No,
So as much as you'll see 6 things about how it's costing us money and stuff like that, and then the next thing will be about like completely opposite, and you're like, what? Like they're
but yeah,
supporting them now, and it's like,
in the new curriculum that's starting in November, yeah, they're spending money on having. I can't. Sorry. Having kids be taught about how to spot disinformation and misinformation on social media, which is ironic because all they
really?
give us is disinformation. Yeah,
But,
that's what I was
yeah,
going to
like,
say. Yeah, it's part of the new. That's starting in November. How to
but
spot
okay, so
disinformation and
first of all,
misinformation.
don't go on Facebook at all because they notoriously don't care about any kind of misinformation. And it's like they've got like 97% of all things like racism and stuff like that left up there. They don't even get checked. So you're really setting them up. What there? That's mad. I don't see.
They'll spend money on that and include that into the curriculum, but they won't. They won't spend money on actual help and support for our kids. Crazy. It's like I said to you. Now I've done 6 months of this. Nearly 6 months of started with this research, and some of the stuff I found out is absolutely it's just crazy. Really, like off the charts. You just wouldn't believe.
Mm,
You just wouldn't believe that it's happening. But like I said,
it's a dark place,
that's
isn't
why
it?
I said to you about the next generation. Well, the last generation, the 12 years.
Mm,
So the HCP first came out in 2014, and we're now in 2026, which is 12 years, which is exactly the same amount of time from reception to year 11. 12 years.
mm,
You know,
yeah,
by missing the first 7 years because they're not going to do anything they're removing the needs. So a child's already nearly at secondary school. So there's 7 years gone, wasted, whatever, ignore.
yeah,
Yeah. And then because you've got the delay from primary school to secondary school with the information and all the rest of it. Yes, they're going to have the digital thing like that they can use, but what's actually in that digital thing? Not much. No
yeah. That's it.
explanations. No, no history of what they've tried, what they haven't tried, what the kid reacted well to, etc., etc., etc. All that be yeah. So that'll be another 2-3
Yeah,
years. So then you're in year 2, 3, which is what 12, 13.
mm,
You're nearly ready to start your GCSEs.
I know. Yeah, too late.
Too late. And then we'll start with the next
way too
one.
late.
We start with the next one.
Yeah, it's not good. It's not good. Well, hopefully, I'm hoping that, and said, the more conversations that we have like this, and the more
I mean, I have
we
been,
get. No, no, but I said
stuff with this.
it's important again. And it's, do you know what's nice? It's because I'm very. I say this to my mum all the time because I used to be like quite not a conspiracy theories, because a lot of my conspiracy theories I believed in are actually coming to true, including the island, which is crazy.
Yeah.
Like, but you know what I mean, like it's all coming to light now.
Yeah.
But like stuff like this is like it's not. It's at the point now. This is not just people like. It's not a conspiracy theories.
Yeah.
This is information again. You say that you can see very clearly with your own eyes. This is not questionable. This is things that you can get access to, and conversations like we're having now hopefully will help people start questioning and start looking for what they need to be looking for, because it's opening information. They're just not, they're hiding it in plain sight, if that makes sense, isn't it? It's that kind of tactic.
Yeah.
And
Well,
hopefully
well,
we
this
just
is
kind of
it.
help
And
with
it's
it. But
like, you know, I don't know how to describe it. It's like, well, you know, you might as well, you better, you know, you can have a health passport. It's not like quite an EHCP, but, you know, go and have one. It'll help. And it's just everything. It's, you know, they're taking everything away and make us go crazy. And then they're trying to offer us a solution. Did you see what I mean? It's just,
yeah,
so we all fall into this trap. We all fall into this trap. And then our kids, like you said, you might not work. You might not be on benefits, right? You might work. Yeah. Your parents might work. The parents might work, etc. But your kid might not. You take away his support and then the tools, teaching the tools that he needs to survive, to cope, to manage. Yeah. And his diagnosis and all the rest of it. But your kid might end up on benefit.
yeah,
And then their kid might end up, so it might not just be about your kid. It might be about your grandkids, you know. And all
yeah,
we do is we learn from the past. All I've done with my son's autism is I've spoken to other people who have been through this. What did they do? All the rest of it, you know. So I don't know how they're gonna. Why don't they do it with this? Why don't they do it with the educational? Evolve, adjust. You know what I mean? If it was a business and you've got a different customer base, what would you do? You would change your product to fit
yeah.
the customer base. So why
It is, yeah.
is the education kind of like the whole thing?
Mhm.
And then I had one really, really crazy idea, which was a bit, you know what I mean? But is it because it's going to be a financial? It's going to end up being financially benefit to the government, like Big Pharma.
I'm having trouble with the connection.
You
Yeah.
get what I
Try
mean?
again in a moment.
Like war, because people profit off weapons.
Yeah, and it,
That's what
yeah,
I'm trying
when
to
you look
say.
at that, when you go down that rabbit hole,
They
it does
want
make
to
sense,
keep
doesn't it?
it
Because
bad because
the
other people
confusion,
benefit from it.
yeah, and it's almost like I've always tried to look at that, especially with the EHC block, about how are you financially funded when you have a good court. It doesn't make sense, but it has to be a financial benefit, because I think even that, if you're turning away and saying no straight away, you've already saved 50% of your money because half of them parents are not going to appeal. So you've stopped 100% going through. Now it's a 50, and then you've got a second appeal system. Then you've got
Yeah.
another 25% off. So you might have spent a quarter of the money on the tribunals, but you've not spent the rest of the money because they've already been fiddled out by that
Yeah.
time. And that's
they're
exactly what
saying-
delays the process of the bill to do, isn't it?
And the financial thing is because they're attacking it at both ends. So the primary school age, etc., the support, all the stuff you've just said, and then you get to the 16-year-olds or the DLA applications that are going to be going
Yeah.
through, so you can apply for DLA. That's going to be affected because your health passport isn't going to match up to your EHCP, and it's going to be conflicting.
That's
It's going to be conflicting opinions. Conflicting news, data, evidence
Yeah.
that you're trying to provide, so it'll get rejected. So
Yeah.
it's, do you see what I mean? So this is my view
Yeah.
of the bigger picture of
Yeah.
how, and I think because it's like the government can't accept they can't fail. So we did it with the digital ID. So let's start it on
That's
children.
it. Right. Yeah, and on that note, I think that'd be nice of you to go into like what your kind of what you've created for that, kind of what you're kind of doing, and the link to like what you're trying to create with the register.
All right, yes. Do you? I kind of copied it a bit off you because you said the other day on your Facebook something about actually how many of us are there? How many? How many? Do you know what I mean? And if it's all genetics, then we end up in the future one day when everybody is a little bit autistic or a little bit, yeah. You know what I mean? And so I was looking, as I've done with my research, I looked through a lot of data and a lot of statistics, numbers, percentages, all that kind of stuff. And I was like, but these are only the people that are diagnosed. You're only counting them. So what about the other people, like we said earlier, about the family members, the sister, the brother, the grandparent, etc.? Do you know what I mean? And I thought, I mentioned it to you that, instead of so what I'm trying to do, next week, I'm going to be launching a Facebook group, and it's going to be it's going to be like a visual register. Yeah. So, for people affected by, families affected by SEND, teachers, TAs, professionals affected by SEND. So you don't have to have it yourself. You just have to have somebody in your family that has it. So it's like and then that will create a bigger picture of not just the statistics of who is diagnosed, the medical.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? It's actually going to create a picture of actually how many of the population is affected. One way.
It's got to be most of them, right? It's got to be most of our. If you look at dial it down in that sense, if you're taking away from just a single diagnosis and talking about anyone in the family, so your brother could have it, and you're talking about someone in the family, like if you're going that far into teachers have to deal with it, this is what's silly, isn't it? Because most people do, and the fact that there's no support and money put into it, when what you're going to say is going to be great. And I think it's great to see the visual representation, because otherwise,
And not, and I was
as you
going
said,
to
you
say
end
that
up-
it's not just because we're not just repeating the same stuff that they're doing, and we've got already the numbers. It's actually putting somebody's face to that number to show that actually these are real people's lives. If we get enough, make banners out of it, or do whatever. Do you know what I mean? Actually,
I think we will. I'll
the,
definitely help that.
the government, the person who sat at their tiny little desk thinking all these brilliant, reforms are going to work and all the rest of it, just might get a different point of view. If you're looking at somebody's face and you think my decision is going to affect that person in this way, you're less likely going to make the decision.
It is, isn't it? And I think that's the power of it.
And
When you're
it's
looking
showing
at
that we
people,
are actually people and real families.
yeah,
Do you know what I
it's so
mean?
powerful. I
Yeah.
love it, yeah. And I think as well, because what it does as well is when you look at someone's face, but even when you're looking at, for me, so even when I've done, as you said, I've done twice a test of market, see where people are from. So it's hard to process when it's in writing.
Yeah.
It's almost like you can see the statistics, but it's in writing. But if I had everyone in their face, like doing a picture where they live, that's a lot more overwhelming.
Yeah.
Like, wow. And I think creating that picture instead of it just being a statistic that they keep using is amazing. And I think it's great. I said, I'm going to try and get as many people
like you said, I do that with my research. It's like if say for, I don't know, if a statistic says, it's 30, 40,000 people, I think that's a packed football stadium for people.
Yeah.
Do you see what I mean? So,
Yeah.
and like I said, the register is, you don't have to stay. It's not a support common group, like conversation, all the rest of it. It's just simply like a thingy. And so the other side of it is what we were talking about earlier, the new EHCP digital thing is becoming digital. The trials end in the end of March, and it's going to be mandatory as from September. So the coding that's going to be used in there, I've done it all and got the blueprint for it. So what I said to you was basically, so your app, SENDhelp Family app, people need to start using this coding, right, when they're building evidence about their child's disability and how it affects them. Because if they don't, what's going to happen is the algorithm that is doing it will reject that information because it doesn't fit in. It doesn't match up to what they're doing.
Yeah.
Do you see what I mean? So I do have it, okay? I do know how I can help, or people can start doing it now. And basically what's going to happen is people can then start collecting their own evidence for their child and how their disability affects them. Yeah?
Yeah.
And it's nearly finished. It's a PDF, and I'm giving it away and handing it out to the admin on that Facebook group page. I'll give you the details, Nate, and you can.
Yeah, I'll put it on my
And
friend's
it's
as well.
free. I'm giving it to admins to see if they want to, and then they can then redistribute it amongst their group, amongst their followers or whatever. It's like I said, it's not a group that's about support, followers, comments, likes, whatever. I just want people to be able to help people match what the government's doing and basically use their own tool, what they developed to try and dismiss and discriminate us. If we use that tool, then they can't say that it's what, it doesn't fit, it doesn't match, because that is their tool.
Yeah. No, I think it's good. And I think as well, what the accidental thing you've created by doing something like this, when it involves teachers and stuff like that, and only involves a picture about effective, it brings around walls that I've not managed to bring down yet. Like nowhere else would you get a teacher and a parent being in the same pally about SEN in that sense. But when you realise, and that kind of really realise and hit home like the level of
Yeah.
a SEN need
Yeah.
affects everybody.
I've
It's
learned so.
affected with that.
I've just learned. My son was diagnosed. He just turned 3, like literally just turned about 2 weeks after his 3rd birthday. You know, and because he's at that other end, because he's off the scale, because he was non-verbal to late, etc., etc. He virtually went straight to a special school, got his EHCP and all of it. So actually, my school journey, his school journey, was quite simple, was quite kind of straightforward.
Mm.
But going on, not listening to other people and the trouble and the stories that they're telling at the moment, you know, something like this, and this is why I'm offering it for free. I don't want to make money off it. It's non-profit. It's whatever. You know what I mean? It's simply because this isn't for. I don't want to make anything out of this. Do you know what I mean? I just think people need to know about it. I think people
No, yeah,
need to be aware of it. Do you know what I mean? Which is why, like, you know, why not?
that'd be good. Yeah, yeah,
Why not?
that's
And if
it.
we
Why
can,
not?
and you know, it might not help us today, and I'm aware of that, you know.
Mm.
But if this register can also then be adapted and to be used for other things, you know,
Mm.
we can add thingies onto it at certain stages, so we can data monitor the next
Yeah,
3-4 years. You know,
yeah,
everybody in school who's had to leave to go, we could put other categories into it and build.
yeah,
Do you see what I mean? I
yeah,
haven't got as far onto
yeah,
that yet. That's why I'm a bit like, oh, we could. Do you know what I mean? But the actual
yeah.
app is the Facebook group is nearly ready to launch. It will be launched next week. Again, I'll give you the thing is, and
Yeah,
then
I've
I'm
got.
going to leave it about a week or 2 weeks, and I will send invites out to as many admin or whatever. So if you know of any admin that you think might want this or might find this useful, you know, get them.
Yeah, I'll put it out.
Do you know what
Yeah,
I mean? And then I will give this. This will be part 1 of the PDF file as well, because obviously I have
yeah,
to monitor March and the white paper and how that's going to,
yeah. March is going to be a big month, isn't it?
what's going to be released there. Yeah, and I think that's.
Yeah.
I think it's very coincidental that that's actually when the digital trials end for the EHP.
Oh, cool. Yeah, but they might announce that. Yeah,
I think they
let's
are.
hope not.
I think they are going to announce that. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
hope
I think
not.
that's
But
one of the announcements that
yeah.
they're going to make. You know.
Maybe then as well. Maybe we can catch up in March as well. Do another podcast in March.
Yeah,
See what
yeah,
happens over there, and see where everyone's out there. And I think it's like a perfect natural timing to then follow up, wouldn't it?
yeah, yeah.
That'd be
Well, man, I
great.
could do it anywhere. I love it. I love learning. It's quite sad, really.
Yeah.
I hated school, but I love learning. Do you know what I mean?
Well, it's because you can do what you want to learn about, and I think that's the same in school, isn't it? Because I was the same. I hated it in school, and then all of a sudden I was like, oh, I like this. It's interesting.
Yeah.
And well, no, I've done
Well,
all like
I'm just so
doing
passionate
everything.
about it because so many the struggles that some of these families go through, you know, it's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking. And like I said, I know it probably won't help, it won't help today, next couple of years, whatever. But if we can use what we're going through today to help somebody else in 5-10 years time from now, isn't it worth doing? We've
Yeah,
learned
that's
from
it.
the people before us, and we need to pass on our knowledge to the people you know, that are going to come after us,
Yeah,
and try
that's
and
how it was.
change it
Yeah,
in a better way. And
that's it.
that just needs time to happen.
Yeah,
Do you see what I mean? You
yeah,
can't rush it. It needs to be time.
yeah.
And we have to.
But yeah,
I think the biggest argument is making the government realise that unless we change the educational system, the foundations, yeah, and build a whole new system, it's always going to be unsuitable and unsustainable. It's just
it's
always
how
going to
long it's going to
continue.
take them to realise that, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and I think they're not at the point yet. I think they're right. They're going to try and
No,
change
no,
this and
because they're
still
just
try and go with it.
starting.
I'm right.
They're just starting now with this EHU, which is why I thought the register might be a good idea. Because we
Yeah,
can start the
definitely.
tracking the same time that they're doing it. Do you get what I mean? We can
Yeah,
actually,
yeah, no, definitely.
you know,
That'd be
and
good.
not do it in
Yeah,
5
happy to
years'
share that with
time
your
and say,
son,
oh,
that.
whatever. So yeah. So
But
yeah,
no,
that's
it's
the
been
idea.
a
That's the hope. That's the plan.
mm,
You know, but like I
but
said,
yeah,
it's
I
like,
think
you know, if you want to post, post your picture. I think there's 3 categories that I've done, which is families, teachers and professionals, TAs, and then late diagnosed.
yeah,
Late
spot on.
diagnosed. But it has to be diagnosed though, to fit in with their
Yeah,
statistics. To match what they're doing, I have to do the same. I'm not, you
yep,
know,
yeah.
anything other
But no, it's
anything like
brilliant.
that.
But yeah,
And
I
then
think it's
hopefully, in when they come back in 2 years, 3 years, next general election or whatever, we can stand there and go, well, actually, this is what we
yeah,
thingy. Now
no,
look
that's
at it
it,
from a
that's it.
different point of view, because
Yeah,
all their evidence collecting is done by them. It's their words. It's what they've pushed. The narrative.
yeah,
They
with
push
their
the
agenda and this.
narrative. Well, we'll push it. So
That's
yeah,
it. But no, I think it's great. I've really enjoyed this podcast actually, and I think it's going to help quite a lot of people in the sense of I'm quite intrigued to see how many people have kind of followed where we're going with it and seen if there's anyone out there that's seen kind of anything or can add to something else that might have missed to look
yeah.
at or
Well, I mean, this was thing that I was, because since the 1st of March to the thingy, but then when the EP34 came out and I stumbled across this, I obviously go through Facebook and that a lot, and from what I can see, not many. A lot of people are asking the question. There's something bigger going on here. I've seen that
yeah.
quite a lot, but. I mean, I didn't even know about the digital trials until, a few weeks ago. And they end in March. They've been going on for ages. They've kept
It's
that
hard to find
quiet.
anything, isn't it?
They've
Yeah,
kept
they
that
do. And
quiet.
I remember that with the right to choose thing. They've literally done a whole
Yeah.
legislation that's affecting right to choose now without anyone knowing about it. It's only ADHD UK that caught it and done an article
Yeah.
on it that was actually put it any kind of mainstream. But by the time they knew about it, it's already going through.
Yeah. Yeah. As well, I've written a couple of statements on that PDF file, which people need to now start writing. So if you have an EHCP plan, an IEP plan sent home from school, and when you feel you're a bit in at the back or whatever, write a statement on there saying, I do not give consent for
Yeah,
information to be shared, blah, 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 blah. Yeah.
that's it.
I think that's just it. Yeah. So it's just a few tools that basically help you monitor and produce your own evidence, which matches the government's. That's basically it.
That's it. Nice. Well, it's been brilliant speaking to you today,
You too.
Michelle. And I'm
Sorry,
so
not
happy
so much
that
of
we
your
got it
time. I know
today.
you're very busy.
No, it's not. That's dead. We've got another one coming up as well. I hope that you're going to be amazed by again, like the how much you're going to help people. And I think because I'm really been going through it and think like this is going to get a lot of people not agreeing, but like talking about, 'cause it does make sense. And
Yeah.
I think people have had concerns, as you said,
I
and not
think
knowing
the
where to
biggest
put the
hurdle
concerns and where to look.
the biggest hurdle is that some people are going to go, well, why is she doing it? What does she get out of it? What's she going to make out of it? It's just another scheme to get, more fun. Do you know what I mean? And actually, no, it's not.
And when you realise that these kids are actually suffering, and I think when people actually realise that they actually are, and we're not being dramatic, and I think people would understand that people would do this just to protect the kids, like anyone would,
Yeah. I mean, the difference. I mean, it's like I said. Do you remember the march for the free speech march that they had
Yeah.
in London in September? And you look at how many people turned up, and there was that. The problem with us is that I'm sorry, but we have SEN kids to take care of. We can't
That's
just
it,
up and
yeah.
leave and stick them in a massive crowd full of people.
Maybe that's what we should do. Maybe we should just like make the public look after the kids. So we just all take the kids to one place,
One
like
park.
imagine like 1 million SEND parents of
just
SEND
one
kids.
park.
Chaos.
One park, one McDonald's. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That would be good. It would be good. Yeah. Yeah.
But no, thank you very much. Thank you for your time, and
No,
thank you
it's
for
always a
everything
pleasure.
you've done. And all the research is crucial. And again, I'll share everything that we need to get in the future going forward. And I'll keep coming and see what we come up with and see how many people we can help. Really, but thank you.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I kind of really want. That's why I'm going to wait for a couple of weeks or whatever, so I can hit everybody at once. Just release it to everybody at once, and that way it won't then become a tool for other people to try and twist
No, that's it.
and whatever. You know what I mean? No, this is free. It's just free. It's just free. Free.
Yeah.
And everybody
that's
has it at the same time, and there's going to be nobody competing about it, is there?
No, that's it. Yeah, that's the way forward, isn't it?
Actually, I do ask for something in return. Is a picture. You don't have to give a picture of your kids. I'm not asking for a picture of your kids because a lot of people don't like that either. I'm not that. Yeah. And that's
But you could always at the end, could always take the kids' places anyway, isn't it? That's the first slippery line.
I'm just aware that I know that some people don't like putting their kids' faces on Facebook or whatever. So I'm saying you don't have to.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean,
That's it.
And that's it. And that's it. And then hopefully, if we can gather enough information, evidence or whatever, then we might start having a fighting chance of being able to fight them. because we're going to produce something or provide them with something with different statistics and different data to actually what's happening rather than the ones that they're navigating to happen.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
That's
You know what I
that's
mean?
it's,
So
it's
yeah,
brilliant.
but that's it. Yeah, I bet.
But no, but no, thank you. No, it's been brilliant. And yeah, as I said, thank you very much. Thank you for your time. And we'll get another one in March. And
Yeah,
I'm sure
yeah.
it's not the last that we're going to work towards each other. And it's been good.
Yeah, it's been very, yeah, I'm pleased. I'm happy to tell you. Yeah.
That's it.
I just want people to know. So I'm happy. Yeah. Thanks for giving me this opportunity.